Hello there.
This is where the fun begins.
Hey there guys, Unofficial Star Wars here. Hope you're all doing well, and in this video we are going to be discussing the new Star Wars The Acolyte Disney Plus show, as we had a lot of news at Star Wars Celebration last week. We are going to be going into more depth and into more detail here into the regards of everything that was shown and announced there for Star Wars Celebration into the regards of The Acolyte show. We will also be discussing a little bit about the actual footage and the actual trailer that was shown there at Star Wars Celebration exclusively to attendees. However, of course, it since then hasn't been put out officially online or anything like that, so we'll be discussing and kind of describing a little bit of that there as well, so stay tuned for that. In this video, we are going to be taking a read from the direct article. I'll have their article linked in the description down below for you guys to check out there as well. As a read, Lucasfilm showed off the first footage from the upcoming Disney Plus series, The Acolyte, which is told from the point of view of the Sith. The original series takes place towards the end of the High Republic and before the Phantom Menace, 100 years before the events of the Skywalker saga. The show will be led by Amanda Steinberg, alongside Daphne Keane and Lee Jung-jae. While the specifics of their characters remain a little bit of a mystery, at the very least, they'll be joined by a Wookiee Jedi, something that was also confirmed and announced at Star Wars Celebration. Now, into the regards of The Acolyte and its other leaks, we had a lot of character leaks from a couple of months ago here now. We had that covered here on the channel. I'll have that video linked in the description down below for you guys to check out there as well. It goes into depth and kind of shows off some details of what we have for these characters that these actors, Amanda Steinberg, Daphne Keane, Lee Jung-jae, are going to be playing in this show. However, we do know that the show is in the midst of its production, about halfway through, and thanks to Star Wars Celebration, the world now has its first footage description from the series, and a little bit more details on what we can expect to see with The Acolyte coming out sometime in 2024 next year. Star Wars Celebration has kicked off and ended, and with it, Lucasfilm premiered the first footage from the highly anticipated series, The Acolyte. The footage begins with Lee Jung-jae's Jedi Master teaching some younglings, where, as described by the direct's Tom Drew and comicbook.com, he tells them, "Close your eyes. Your eyes can deceive you. We must not trust them." This is what Lee Jung-jae's character, Jedi Master, is telling some younglings as the footage kind of starts there. And then we have Carrie Ann Moss's mystery character can be seen sitting at a table, hooded, in a bar. She's then attacked by Amanda Steinberg's character, who is donning a purple robe and 2 knives. Charlie Barnett's Jedi character gets some brief screen time as well, where it's revealed that she has a yellow lightsaber. Gritty fight sequences flash on the screen as 8 Jedi are shown taking their lightsabers out while overlooking an unknown sight. The Trade Federation's Nepodian species, like Nute Gunray we see in The Phantom Menace, can also be briefly seen in this footage, and Friends of Force on Twitter offered up another quote from the footage, as one of the mystery characters in the show are saying that this isn't good or bad, it's about who's allowed to use it. That is what one of the characters are saying in this footage here, as it was something that some people had mentioned over on Twitter that had actually seen this trailer. Now, as far as I know, there's no actual leak of this footage here, although I very well could be wrong, so let me know in the comments down below. This here's just an overall description. Even then, if there was actual footage, I don't think I'm allowed to show it here on the channel for the obvious reasons of copyright issues and everything like that. The video would probably end up getting taken down anyway. If this leaked footage is a thing that's been circulating around, I'll do my part and I'll look around for it. I'll try to have it up on our Instagram, Unofficial Star Wars. It's linked in the description down below. Anyway, discussing a little bit about this description of what people had saw here in this overall footage here for The Acolyte, exclusively shown at Star Wars Celebration, as I had mentioned. Firstly, just kind of looking at this character saying that this isn't good or bad, it's about who's allowed to use it. It definitely has to be into reference of the Force and what the Force is exactly and everything like that. Now, seeing that the show here, The Acolyte, is taking place 100 years before the events of the Phantom Menace and before the Skywalker saga, it's going to be taking place in the ending days of the High Republic. So the Force has been a thing forever. It's in the Star Wars galaxy, of course. It's been a thing forever. So you may be thinking that, oh, this show is going to explore the origins of the Force. And to be honest with you guys, that's honestly wrong. Before the High Republic era, we have the Old Republic era, which is confirmed to be semi-canon to an extent in the extended universe and everything like that with Legends. Although that is something that Lucasfilm still wants to bring to canon and explore more in depth. Those Knights of the Old Republic games aren't canon though. ago. And even then, before the Old Republic and before the High Republic as well, there is a new era that was recently announced and kind of confirmed at Star Wars Celebration this year that's called Dawn of the Jedi. Now, this year would be a new era where we would actually have a movie centered around this by James Mangold, the director of Ford vs. Ferrari and the Marvel's Logan movie, of where that movie would explore the very first Jedi and the creation of the Jedi Council and everything like that, the Jedi Order. So if for anything, the origins of the Force I think would be more discovered in something like that. And I don't think that this quote of "this isn't about good or bad, it's about who's allowed to use it" wouldn't be into reference about the origins of the Force or how it came to be or anything like that, because as I had mentioned, I'm heavy on the belief that the Force has kind of just always been a thing in the Star Wars universe. And instead, this quote of "this isn't about good or bad, it's about who's allowed to use it" would have to be into reference of the different beliefs and ideology, essentially, of the Sith and the Jedi, because they both use the Force, but they both have different aspects and different ideas, essentially, of how you're supposed to use the Force, and it kind of also brings the whole gray Jedi into the mix of things as well. Remember that not all of the Sith really believe that the use of the Force is bad, and that they do think and believe that they are using it for good. That would be from a certain point of view, of course, though. Now, the article continues to read that witnessing the return of the Sith is a major thing. Seeing that coming to Disney Plus and exploring that more and more is something we kind of rarely ever see in Star Wars. And especially in this day and age, and having it something being brought into the canon and into something that would be, canon and in the Skywalker saga and take place in all in the same realm, wouldn't be a part of the extended universe or legends like the Old Republic is, as I had mentioned. The Acolyte is going to be quite the unique Star Wars adventure. For one, it will be told during a new point of the timeline, never before seen in live action, or really at all, since it's all being towards the end of the High Republic era. It might not even be considered as part of the Skywalker saga. And from there, kind of branch off into its own thing, its own type of saga, is something I think that has the potential. So alongside with seeing like an entirely new timeline here, you're seeing the galaxy in an entire different state here. Of course, you're going to see new planets, you're going to see old beloved planets like Coruscant and probably. I think the other thing though with this series that gets me pretty excited is that we're dealing with entirely, completely new characters. And the last time we saw something with this with Star Wars was arguably The Mandalorian, but then again it brought in a lot of familiar faces like Boba Fett, Ahsoka, Luke Skywalker, so on and so forth. And that's just for the Disney Plus realm of things. For in the movies and theatrical releases, probably the sequels. But then again, the sequels had a lot to do with the OGs, the original trilogy. Princess Leia, Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Lando Calrissian. So with that being said, I think that there's only like really two characters that could appear that we already know of. It would actually make sense to have them appear in this show for hopefully a brief cameo at that. Would be a younger Yoda and a younger Chewbacca. Arguably, maybe Darth Plagueis to a point, so let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. Though one would hope that given Lucasfilm's expansive High Republic publishing initiative with their books and their comics off of the High Republic, there will be plenty of other connections to those characters and those stories in one way or another. So it's not necessarily entirely new characters, but for me, if you're like me and haven't read anything to do with the High Republic and its books or anything, its comics or anything like that, then it's a completely new slate. The Acolyte will also be the first live-action project to be centered on and told from the villain's perspective. Now, arguably, you might say the Tales of the Jedi with the Dooku episodes, but I think that this would be so much more, and also it's live action. Now, actress Jodie Turner-Smith, who is not going to be a Jedi in the show, recently hyped up the series, sharing that how it will be nothing that anyone has ever seen before inside of the Star Wars universe. And that really is quite a claim, so hopefully it's something the project can live up to with all of the hype that they've created with Star Wars Celebration and for the Acolyte. Either which way, I am beyond hyped for this show coming out sometime next year. We don't have an official confirmation. It could be earlier in the year, later in the year, in the middle of the year. We don't know. So let me know of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. I would love to hear what you guys are all anticipating and hoping to see with the Acolyte. This has been the overall footage description video here, so let me know what you guys think about that there as well. Guys, have a great one. This has been Unofficial Star Wars. I'll catch you guys in the next video. May the Force be with you as always. Peace out.